Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. First, I just want to say welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. Bienvenidos al año de este 2020-2021. As you guys know, this will be a very different year than any other year we've had at Lakeview as we start the school year on a virtual capacity. So we're going to talk about that today, what that looks like, talk about some of the expectations and what you can expect your students to be seeing, what the schedule will look like, and all of those things from us. Before we start, though, we want to just introduce ourselves, especially if we have a lot of new families that are this is their first time at Lakeview, so I want to make sure you guys get to know each and every one of us. So bienvenidos al nuevo año. Ya sabemos que este año se va a mirar muy diferente de los otros años porque vamos a empezar el año virtual. Entonces, vamos a repasar cómo se va a mirar el día para los estudiantes, los schedules, y también hablar sobre nosotros, quién somos. Ya sabemos que muchos de ustedes son nuevos, entonces también queremos introducirnos. So really quickly, my name is Mr. Bass, for those of you who don't know me. This is my email in case you ever need to get a hold of me. It's j.bass@pucschools.org. This is my 6th year at Lakeview and my 3rd year as principal. So I used to be the assistant principal for 3 years, and before being at Lakeview, I was actually the assistant principal at Nueva Esperanza Middle School that I know some of you come from. Originally, I was born in Inglewood, California, so not too far away, right by the airport. And I went to UC Santa Barbara and LMU, so I'm an alumni of both those schools. And thank you guys for allowing me to serve your students and serve your families. Yo soy Mr. Bass, soy el director de Lakeview. Este es mi sexto año de Lakeview, el tercer año como el director. Yo soy de Inglewood, California, y fui a las universidades de Santa Barbara y de Loyola.
Hi, families. My name is Mrs. Lipson. I'm the Dean of Academics at Lakeview. This is my 10th year working at Lakeview Charter High School. I spent 8 years in the classroom as an English teacher, and this is my 2nd year as a dean. My email address is on the slide as well. Please use that to contact me with any questions you might have about schedules, about your classes, about grades, or about teachers. I work with all of our teachers directly in support of their classroom practices. I'm from La Crescenta, California, and I attended Occidental College and Loyola Marymount University. I'm excited to have the year with you. Hola, padres, mi nombre es señora Lipson, soy el subdirector de los académicos. Este es mi 10º año a Lakeview. Fui una profesora, maestra de inglés durante 8 años y este es mi 2º año trabajando como un subdirector. Yo soy de La Crescenta y asistí a la Universidad de Occidental and Loyola Marymount. Trabajo directamente con los maestros y sus estudiantes y si tiene preguntas sobre las clases o los grados, por favor, dame un email.
Hi families, my name is Manuel Castellanos. I am the Dean of Culture here at Lakeview Charter High School. This is my 9th year at Lakeview, 2nd year as Dean of Culture. I was the former visual arts and leadership teacher here at Lakeview Charter High School. I am from here, the community, San Fernando, California, born and raised. And I got my education from Cal State University of Northridge. I'm the administrator that you want to contact for any technology needs. If there are any student concerns, behavior concerns, if you would like more information on things like clinical counseling, or if you feel like there are any concerns over bullying, I'm the one you want to contact. Buenas tardes, familias. Mi nombre es Manuel Castellanos. Soy el subdirector de Cultura aquí en Lakeview Charter High School. Tengo 9 años aquí en Lakeview. Yo fui el maestro de artes visuales y de leadership. Ya tengo 2 años como subdirector de Cultura. Yo crecí en San Fernando, California, so esta es mi comunidad, y agarré mi educación en Cal State Northridge, aquí en el Valle. Yo soy la persona con quiere hablar si tiene asuntos sobre tecnología, si tiene preguntas sobre sus hijos, consejeros, cosas así, o si cree que sus hijos tienen un problema de cómo están actuando, cosas así. So, yo estoy disponible para esas preguntas. Families, if you haven't done so yet, I'm going to go ahead and encourage you to please do two things. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. I'm sorry, we don't follow back. We don't give likes. But it's really important you follow these two, especially now that we're virtual. We want to try to communicate with you as much as possible. These are the two best ways. We're always posting videos, posting any kind of announcements. This is the fastest way to get that information. On Instagram, we're at PUC LCHS. Facebook, we're at facebook.com/PUC LCHS. If you have a quick second, please grab your phone and do so. Add us as a follower. Familia, si no han tenido la oportunidad, por favor, síguenos en la aplicación de Instagram y también en la Facebook. Es muy importante ahorita, como estamos en una situación virtual, recibir noticias y ver videos, y tenemos todas esas cosas para usted en esos dos canales de sociales. Si quiere seguirnos para el Instagram, es PUC LCHS, y también en facebook.com PUC LCHS. So, por favor, si tiene un momento, abre sus aplicaciones y síguenos.
Yes, and we also always want to be the PUC school with the highest followers. So right now we're at 662. Hopefully by the end of this meeting we're at 700, and we can be a #1 again for the most followers for PUC. So por favor de seguirnos para ser la #1 escuela en PUC. The first thing I want to talk about is just an overview of the year and what determines if we stay virtual or if we go back to school. So just so you guys all know, our hope is that we go back to school eventually once it's safe. We never want to put your students at risk. We never want to put teachers at risk. And so we hope that by the end of the year, we're able to get back all the students back to school. But these decisions will be made based on the data that we see. Okay, and so I want to talk about what that looks like and where we are right now. Okay, so right now we are at the orange level, and these levels are based on the city. So if you're watching Mayor Garcetti, he gives an update on what level we are, what color level we are based on the number of cases. Right now we are 100% virtual learning, and the only people that are really on campus are either us or the office, and then parents come in to drop off documents as needed. Other than that, there's nobody really on campus. If cases begin to decline or go down and there are less restrictions from the county, then we will begin to start offering some of our students to be on campus. These are students that either require special needs or require additional support. Again, this will be based on the county saying that we are now in a yellow level. Those, of course, will be optional. We're never going to say you have to go back to school. It will be an optional thing if we get to that level. If we keep going down and cases are declining and there's little to no restrictions, that's when we'll start seeing more possibilities of the students coming back to school. But it would be a small group, maybe 25% of them at a time. You might start seeing on some days that they come to school, some days it's virtual. But again, this is really depending on there not being many cases in LA County. As we can see right now, that's not the case. If we keep moving down and there's a vaccine available, we might get into a point where we can have half the school back. And then eventually, like I said, purple is our goal. Once there is widespread vaccination, once there's declining cases and the county lists the restrictions, that's when we can start seeing all employees and all students back to school. I can't tell the future, so I don't know if that's going to happen by the end of this year. But just know that we will adapt. We are moving as the data comes in. So we're not saying we're virtual the whole year. We're not saying we're virtual the whole semester, although it's probably likely. It will depend on the city and the county restrictions. But we are putting things in place in the school to make sure that we can come back. So if you've been to the school, you see we have plexiglass in front of the office. We have signs everywhere. We have hand sanitizer. We have a sterilizer that cleans everything. And so we're making those preparations because our hope is that we are all back at school. We miss your children. We miss you guys. We hate being at home every day, all day. Everybody's homesick. We want to be back at school, so we will get to it, hopefully, as soon as possible. Okay. Entonces, un poquito de lo que hablé. Ahorita, este es el modelo de qué determina si regresamos para atrás a la escuela y cuándo, ¿verdad? Entonces, ahorita estos colores están basados en lo que ha dicho la ciudad de Los Ángeles, del Mayor Garcetti. Ahorita estamos en el estado anaranjado. A un tiempo casi estuvimos en rojo, ¿verdad? Pero estamos bajando un poquito. Entonces, ahorita es 100% virtual y nadie está en la escuela, nomás nosotros y la oficina. Si los casos siguen bajando, entonces es donde podemos mirar la posibilidad de que unos estudiantes van a regresar a la escuela, empezando con los estudiantes con educación especial o que necesitan más ayuda. Y estos van a ser invitados, no van a ser requeridos. Claro que no queremos que nadie, si no se siente sano, pues quiera venir, ¿verdad? Pero esto va a depender en que los casos bajen drástico. Si seguimos bajando los casos, podemos llegar a un lugar donde a lo mejor un porcentaje de la escuela puede regresar por unos días. Y si ya llegamos a un lugar donde no hay casi casos y hay vaccinadas, entonces podemos abrir para todos, ¿verdad? Pero todo esto va a depender en el condado, en la ciudad, cómo estamos. Nosotros no podemos mirar el futuro, ¿verdad? No sabemos, pero nunca vamos a poner a nadie en peligro, ¿verdad? Vamos a hacer todo con precaución. Okay, entonces esto es donde estamos. Es posibilidad de que todo el año sea virtual, ¿verdad? Es posibilidad que el segundo semestre regresamos para atrás, pero esto todo depende en los casos en Los Ángeles y las restricciones que tiene la ciudad, ¿verdad? Entonces nosotros vamos a estar respondiendo igualmente como la ciudad y como el condado está respondiendo. Okay, so the next, before I talk about this, we talk about the schedule and we talk about what the day will look like for students. I want to make sure everybody knows about Clever. So Clever is where your students go to access everything. Okay, it's one site. It's right here, clever.com/in/PUC schools. When they open it up, this is what pops up. Okay, they want to click on the little Google link and log in with their school username and password, their email and password. For new students to PUC, parents should have received the information in their parent email. If you didn't, call the school. We can get you that information. Once you log into this, that's where you can go into Power School and see your schedule, see your grades, see everything that you need to see, and also access your classes. Okay, so it's very important that your student goes to this site whenever they're logging into class, whenever they're checking their grades, whenever they're doing anything, because that is where everything lives. Okay, Clever. Entonces, antes de que empecemos de hablar sobre el día, es muy importante que los estudiantes sepan esta clave de Clever. Esto es donde accesan todo, ¿verdad? Sus clases van a estar allí, sus grados, sus schedules, todo está en Clever. Y la manera de que ellos entran es por este sitio. Después ellos imprimen al Google y entran el email de la escuela, su password, y entran y ahí está toda la información. Los padres nuevos a PUC recibieron ese acceso en sus emails de sus estudiantes, porque eso les dice, ese es el nombre, el email de tu estudiante y esa es la clave de tu estudiante. Entonces, si no recibieron eso, por favor, de llamar a la escuela para que podamos mandar eso a la casa. I'm now going to invite Ms. Lipson to talk about what the week looks like and what the daily schedule is for students. Entonces, voy a dejar que Ms. Lipson hable sobre cómo se mira el schedule para los estudiantes y cómo se mira el día.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. So last semester in the spring when we had classes, all of the learning was done, students working independently. This semester, that's not going to be the situation. The state of California is requiring that students come to class and have face-to-face video meetings live with their teachers every single day. So our schedule meets that requirement that every day students are meeting with their teachers and their classmates live. On Monday through Thursday, students will follow their regular schedule, 3 periods every day for 80 minutes with a lunch break in the middle of the day. Students, you will be accessing these classes through Google Meet that I'll talk about in just a moment. On Fridays, we will have advisory and independent work time for math, English, and science. So, Mr. Bass, I'm going to ask if you don't mind translating that for me.
Entonces, este semestre se va a mirar diferente del semestre pasado. La razón es que el semestre pasado empezamos esto rápido, ¿verdad? Y todo fue de un solo. Y ese semestre, ya que tenemos tiempo de prepararnos, el Estado también ha ponido diferentes demandas, ¿verdad? Y una de esas demandas es de que los estudiantes tienen que estar frente a frente a sus maestros todos los días, en vivo, como estamos ahorita. No nomás pueden hacer el trabajo de un día a otro, ¿verdad? Ya sé que muchos estudiantes han mandado mensajes, no, me gustó mejor antes porque podía hacer la tarea a las 2 de la mañana, a las 3 de la mañana, ¿verdad? Eso ya no es posible porque el Estado, como digo, ya pone esa demanda de que todos los días los estudiantes tienen que estar en cámara enfrente con los maestros, ¿verdad? Entonces, por eso hacemos este schedule a los estudiantes, empezando un poquito más tarde, porque sabemos de que ya no están acostumbrados a levantarse a las 8 de la mañana, entonces van a empezar todos los días a las 10 de la mañana. Les dan un poquito más de tiempo para levantarse. Nomás van a tener 3 periodos al día. Entonces, lunes, por ejemplo, periodo 1, 2, lonche en casa, claro, y después periodo 3. Empiezan a las 10 de la mañana, terminan a las 2:55. Cada clase es de 80 minutos. Durante esa clase también van a tener tiempo de trabajar, de hablar con otros estudiantes. No más va a ser enfrente el maestro hablando por 8 minutos tampoco, ¿verdad? Eso va a ser de lunes a jueves. El viernes, ellos van a tener una junta con su maestro de advisory a las 10, de 10 a 10:40. El resto del día van a tener para trabajar en trabajo de inglés, matemáticas y ciencia. Esos trabajos van a ser dados a los estudiantes y lo van a trabajar por computadora a su propio paso, pero estos son tiempos recomendados, ¿verdad? Sí, como 1:20 para cada clase. Pero ese trabajo va a ser solo hecho con ellos, no en vivo. La única clase en vivo el viernes va a ser de 10 a 10:40.
So during these times, students, you will be expected to be in front of the camera with your teacher. And then outside of that, there might be an additional amount of studying and preparing for classes beyond the minutes that you're directly with your teachers and your classmates.
Entonces, durante el tiempo de lunes a jueves van a estar, como dijimos, enfrente de la cámara con sus maestros y con también los demás estudiantes. Y los viernes va a ser el día donde van a estar trabajando a su propio paso.
So next week is the first week of school. Monday is the first week of school. Monday is the first day of school, excuse me. So all students on Monday will be having an orientation with their grade level to welcome you to the school year and help us all transition into what learning online is going to look like. Students, you should have received an email to your PUC email that has the link that you need to follow in order to make it to your meeting. If you are in 9th grade, your link was sent via Zoom. If you are in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, your link was sent as a Google Meet, and you will need your PUC email in order to access that link. We will be starting at 10 a.m. on Monday, so come ready to learn. Cameras on at 10 a.m.
Entonces, la siguiente semana se mira un poquito diferente porque es la primera semana que vamos a empezar. Entonces, el lunes, los estudiantes van a tener una junta con todos sus maestros, todos los estudiantes de cada grado, ¿verdad? Entonces, todos del 9 van a tener una sesión con todos sus maestros del 9. Todos del 10, una sesión con todos sus maestros del 10. Estos enlaces fueron mandados por email, entonces los estudiantes recibieron esos en sus student emails. Si están en el 9, fue por Zoom. Si están 10, 11 o 12, fue por Google. Durante estas juntas, los maestros van a repasar las diferentes cosas que ellos necesitan para empezar sus clases después.
On Tuesday, students will also begin the day at 10 a.m., but this time they'll be in advisory. So your advisory is what your PCE was last year. It's a time for you and one teacher and a group of about 20 to 25 students to meet on a regular basis. Your first meeting will be on Tuesday. You will get an email from your advisory teacher to join their Google Classroom, And once you've joined that Google Classroom, there will be a link to get to your meeting on Tuesday morning. On Tuesday is when you will also join your Google Classrooms for all of your other courses as well, and your advisory teachers have activities planned to continue to help us learn how to be successful online.
Entonces el martes los estudiantes van a tener junta con sus maestros de advisory a las 10 de la mañana. Ellos van a recibir una invitación a sus emails para ser parte de esa clase. Eso va a ocurrir el lunes probablemente o de ahora hasta el lunes, si no lo han recibido ya. También en esa clase ellos van a recibir la información para las clases que van a tomar empezando el miércoles.
Wednesday will be our first day of classes. So Wednesday, you will start following the schedule that we showed on the previous slide, starting with period 1 at 10 o'clock. You'll have a break. You'll go to period 2, have lunch, and then go to period 3. So you'll be done by 2:55. Thursday will also be following the same schedule. Friday will be your advisory meeting at 10 a.m. and then time to do assignments for math, English, and science. You will by then have links to join those classes via Google Classroom every day.
Entonces, empezando el miércoles, va a ser el primer día de clases oficiales, ¿verdad? Donde vamos a seguir ese schedule de que hablamos. Entonces, empezando el miércoles van a ir al periodo 1, al periodo 2, al periodo 3, empezando a las 10 y terminando a las 2:55 p.m. El viernes van a tener su tiempo con su clase de advisory y también tiempo para trabajar sobre el trabajo que les dan los maestros.
As of right now, students, your schedules are in PowerSchool. If you have questions or concerns around your schedule, please send me an email, or there will be another email address that we'll provide at the end of the presentation that you can use to address any of those concerns.
Yeah, for this session, I did disable the chat. I didn't want a lot of interruptions. But at the end, we will talk about if you have questions, where to reach out. I know there's probably a lot of questions. We're going to try to answer all of them. But if we don't get to all of them, we will let you know where to submit those questions, and we will answer those as fast as we can. Mr. Castellanos is going to talk about expectations for students while they're on camera in their classes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Reyes. Parents, if you haven't done so already, there is a video conference waiver form on schoolmint.com, pucschools.schoolmint.com, that you need to fill out in order for your child to have permission to use the video conferencing that is necessary for instruction. That's how they're going to attend school. So it's really important. If you haven't done so, visit pucschools.schoolmint.com and make sure that you fill out that waiver as soon as possible. While video conferencing is going to be important, it is highly encouraged that they have the cameras on, but not mandatory. So all of our teachers will be expecting that students participate, and sometimes that will require the camera to be on. But if there's any reason why the student does not want to be on, or you want to be on, please let us on. Please let us know about that so we can work with the student. But the expectation, and it's very encouraged that the cameras are on. Uniforms will not be required this year. I know a lot of students will be very happy about that. But we still are going to have some guidelines to make sure that students are wearing appropriate clothing while being online with other students and teachers. So we're asking for clothes to not have any kind of profanity, inappropriate images, or be too revealing for both boys and girls or all students. Backgrounds also are an option in Zoom and a lot of video conferencing. I just want to make sure that the backgrounds are appropriate and not distracting to their learning. We know that we're going to have enough challenges this year. We don't want any other things to distract our students from being able to participate or to learn while online. So those are some expectations we have for students to make sure that they are focused as much as possible. Tenemos unas expectativas para los estudiantes cuando están en línea en sus clases virtuales. Uno es que tengan las cámaras puestas. Si ustedes no han ido a pucschools.schoolmint.com, hay una página, una forma ahí que tienen que firmar que va a dar permiso a sus estudiantes para usar las plataformas de conferencia virtuales que tenemos. Y estamos esperando que todos los estudiantes tengan sus cámaras puestas para poder ver el maestro o maestra y para nosotros también ver. No es mandatorio, sí hay opción, pero estamos diciendo que sería mejor si lo tengan puestos. Uniformes, no van a haber uniformes este año. Yo sé que muchos muchachos van a estar alegres de eso, pero sí esperamos que tengan ropa apropiada. Cosas que no están enseñando mucho, piel, pero también cosas que no tengan malas palabras o imágenes que no son apropiadas para la escuela, para todos los estudiantes. También con los fondos virtuales, queremos que sean apropiados. No queremos que los estudiantes tengan distracciones en su educación o su participación. Estos son los expectativos que tenemos ahorita para los estudiantes, para asegurarnos que tengan todo lo que necesitan para aprender.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Castellanos. Here are some important dates, dates coming up in this semester. So we said Monday is the first day of school, August 17th. Our first no school day is Labor Day, and so that is Monday, September 7th is Labor Day. There will be no school. Friday, September 18th, no school. Friday, October 23rd, no school. Those are 2 days where we are doing some professional development with the teachers. And then Wednesday, November 11th is Veterans Day. So there will be no school on those days, just a couple of days that are coming up. There will be more, but these are just the first few that are coming. Unas fechas importantes donde no hay escuela para nosotros. So agosto 17 es el primer día de escuela, pero septiembre 7 no hay escuela, septiembre 18, octubre 23 y noviembre 11. So for support, so where do I go if I need help? Obviously, you can always call the school during school hours. We have our office team there. So Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Avitia, Ms. Gonzalez are there to answer your calls if needed. But if you have a question after hours or you want a response from one of us, please email support@lchs.pucschools.org. This email right here, we just launched it this year. If you email here, I get an email, Ms. Lipson gets an email, Mr. Castellano gets an email, Ms. Gutierrez gets an email. We all get an email. So the first person that can respond, and it's a lot faster. So if you have a question about the schedule, if you don't know where to find the schedule, if you don't know where to find the waiver, you can always email here and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Okay, so that's a good email to take down for any questions that you have. If you picked up a laptop or a hotspot from us and it's not working, either it's malfunctioning, either it's giving you a wrong password, you're trying to get into Clever, it doesn't work, we have a hotline here. This number goes to our IT department and they will help you with the laptop or with the password. You can also email family tech support at pucschools.org and they will also answer anything to do with your device not working. It's not connecting to Zoom, you can't hear sound, you can't see video, and anything like that. For laptops, we did reach out to anybody that needed laptops or people that did not have internet, and we did do a distribution yesterday. We gave out around 100 laptops and a good about 20 hotspots. We are doing some makeup sessions, but like I said, if for some reason you need something, you can email Mr. Castellanos or you can email the support line and we will get back to you. Just so you guys know, just so everybody knows, we are working on setting up a distribution for materials. And so for some classes, you will need like a textbook or a novel or maybe art supply, something. So we are working on that. We will let you know when that day comes in case you have a class that requires something. So we will set up like a pickup, kind of like we did with the laptops, where you will drive through the school, we will put the stuff in your trunk, and then you will be on your way. Okay, so that's coming probably in the next 2 weeks or so. We just want to make sure we get all the materials that we need for your student ahead of time. Okay. Entonces, para ayuda, si tienen preguntas, pueden llamar a la oficina. Aquí está el número. Pero si quieren mandar un email, es también más rápido. Este email aquí, support.lchs@pucschools.org, manda un mensaje a mí, a Ms. Lipson, a Mr. Castellanos y a Ms. Gutiérrez a la misma vez. Entonces, el que lo agarre primero lo va a mandar una respuesta muy rápido. Entonces, si tiene cualquier pregunta, ahí puede mandar sus preguntas. Si tiene un problema con la computadora, ¿verdad? Si usted le prestamos una computadora o un hotspot, o no está trabajando el sound o el video, algo así, puede llamar a este número para pedir ayuda técnica. O también pueden mandar un email a familytechsupport@pucschools.org si tienen un asunto con la computadora que les prestamos, ¿verdad? Si todavía necesita una computadora o algo, pueden hacer una email a support o a Mr. Castellanos para nosotros arreglar un tiempo donde usted puede venir a recoger la computadora. En unas pocas semanas vamos a organizar un día donde si su estudiante necesita una materia para una clase, pueden venir y recoger esas materias. Puede ser un libro, una libreta, algo para una clase de arte o música mejor. Vamos a mandar mensajes sobre ese proceso porque hay unas clases donde se requiere algo físico y no se puede hacer todo por el internet. Entonces eso va a estar pasando probablemente en unas 2 semanas. Algo de que pueden mirar. Anything else, Ms. Lipson or Mr. Castellanos, that I have forgotten?
No, just that we do still have some laptops available. So yes, if they're sharing laptops at home with someone, we want to make sure that they have laptops for themselves to make sure they can attend class, so they can call and request to make that appointment to come pick one up.
Something else that's, oh, did you want to translate that, man?
Yeah, padres, sabemos que los estudiantes necesitan una computadora y queremos, si nomás tienen una computadora por casa y tienen más de un estudiante que lo está usando, pueden pedir otro laptop de nosotros, su computadora, nomás tienen que llamar a la oficina a pedir eso para hacer una cita para llegar y a recogerlo.
Something else that's important difference from last semester is students will be receiving grades. You will get an A, a B, a C, or an F. We are not following with our pass or no pass like we did in the spring. In order to get the grades that you want, students, you're going to need to be attending class every day and be in communication with your teachers. If you, for whatever reason, don't pass a class in our semester or year of virtual learning, you will be required to retake that class. So your grades on assignments, turning things in on time, all of those things count towards your grade this semester.
Thank you. So we will, we hope that we covered most of your questions. If you have any more questions, you can email us. What we're going to do now is if you do not have any questions, you're good. You want to enjoy the rest of your Friday, you can go ahead and log off. We thank you so much for coming. We thank you so much for being here. We are very grateful that you're with us and that you've chosen Lakeview as your school. We will definitely work hard to make sure that we educate your student and that we give them all the resources that they need. Okay. If you have a question that you think it's a good question for the group or individual, we're gonna stay around for a little bit, and you can unmute yourself. Not everybody at once. There's about 160 people, and then we can try to answer those. Entonces, si no tienen preguntas, gracias por venir. Por favor de mandar los mensajes si tienen preguntas. Si tienen alguna pregunta, vamos a quedarnos por unos minutos. Si quieren hacer sus preguntas, pueden usar el feature de unmute. Okay? So anybody have a question that we can answer right now?
Lisa has a question. I'm going to unmute her.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Hold on. Lisa's raised her hand. One moment.
Yeah, you can raise your hand and then we can click on you.
Hi, I'm just wondering if you guys are still going to supply the breakfast, lunch, the meals that you guys were supplying for the kids?
Yes, good question. Yes, so that is still going to happen every Monday. So every Monday we're still doing the distribution starting at 9 a.m. And so you will get breakfast, lunch, and supper. So 3 meals will be given for the whole week. So yes, that will still be happening on Mondays.
Thank you.
Yes, good question. Entonces, esa pregunta fue sobre la distribución de comida. Todavía vamos a seguir la distribución de comida. Va a ser todos los lunes de 9 hasta las 11. Eso va a ser desayuno, lonche y también cena, tres comidas por toda la semana. Okay, sí va a seguir eso todos los lunes.
Kenia has a question. Go ahead.
Will we get these schedules as PDFs so we can print them out?
The student schedule?
Yes.
Yes, we can send that. We can PDF it and send it out.
Okay, that.
And we will also send out the calendar for the year.
And I just have one more question, if that's okay.
Sure.
The inclusion team, when should we expect to hear from them to know the students' plan of action?
Yes, so the inclusion team will be reaching out next week. Right now, they were working on finalizing schedules for all the students. If you want to hear from them sooner, you can always email Mr. Duran. He is the head of inclusion, so his email is just j.duran and the same at pucschools.org, and he will get back to you anytime you email him. He's really fast on emailing back. But yes, for next week you should hear from them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Cynthia has a question.
Hi, I was just wondering, with absences and all that, how does that work, or make up time and stuff like that?
Good question. And so right now we're still waiting to hear from the state in terms of like how students can make up absences and things like that. Right now, what we're going with is for them to be marked as present for class, they have to attend the live session. We're going to give a little bit of wiggle room if they're a little bit late. If they're over 30 minutes late, it's a truant, right? But we are asking that students be present for the online version. What we will do, though, for students who are absent is record the class. And so just like we're recording this session right now, teachers will record one period of their 6 periods that they teach, and we will post it so if the student misses, they can go and watch the video of the class.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Entonces la pregunta fue sobre ausencias. Si los estudiantes no están presentes, ¿verdad? No podemos marcarlos presentes, pero lo que vamos a hacer es recordar las clases, entonces ellos pueden ir y mirar las clases, pero para que ellos cuenten que estén ahí, tienen que estar allí durante ese tiempo.
It's really important that they're there. There hopefully isn't any reason why they shouldn't be or no emergencies, but it's not like last semester where they could do work on their own pace. So it's really important that they're there receiving that instruction and support from teachers. Mr. Baez is referring to if for whatever reason a student is absent, we want to help them out to make sure they don't lose out on some of that presentation. So that's what we're recording for. So es muy importante que los estudiantes estén allí cada día si es posible. Claro que van a haber emergencias a veces, pero es importante que ellos están ahí recibiendo su educación y el apoyo de los maestros en el tiempo apropiado, no al tiempo de su manera.
We have a question from Maria.
Tengo una pregunta sobre cómo pueden ellos entrar o saber cuando ya están listos para Zoom, o cómo van a mandar una página o algo para que ellos entren a la clase. Es mi pregunta.
Sí, entonces ellos tienen que chequear sus emails de estudiantil. Entonces cada estudiante tiene un email por la escuela, ¿verdad? Entonces cuando ellos entren a ese email, ahí van a tener la clave, ¿verdad? Entonces esa clave los va a dirigir para dónde ir el lunes, y cuando estén ahí el lunes van a recibir las direcciones para cómo van a accesar sus clases toda la semana.
Ok, muchísimas gracias.
Entonces the question was about how do students know where to go for class? So like we mentioned before, we need students to check their emails. That is where they'll get the link for their class, whether it's Zoom, whether it's Google. It will be in their student email. We can't post it online because then you get people crashing the sessions and people going to class that shouldn't be in the right class. And so it has to be personal. And so it's in their PUC email.
We have a question from another Maria.
Sí, mi pregunta es para los estudiantes que tienen un IP. ¿Quién, el encargado de eso, se va a tener que comunicar con nosotros, o cómo se va a poder comunicar con la persona cuando mi hijo ocupe ayuda?
Sí, claro. Entonces, el que está encargado del programa de inclusión es Mr. Duran. Su email es J como Jorge, punto Durán, pucschools.org. Si lo quieren contactar por cualquier cosa, él les da, pero ellos van a estar hablando a la casa. Van a estar hablando con ustedes. También él tiene un buen equipo donde ellos van a estar asignados, cada miembro de inclusión va a estar asignado un grupo pequeño de estudiantes donde ellos pueden estar chequeando con ellos cada rato. Incluso los estudiantes, los maestros de inclusión van a estar en las clases virtualmente con los estudiantes también para ayudarles, donde ellos pueden ir a un cuarto por el internet y ayudarles a ellos uno con uno, ¿verdad? Pero si tienen más preguntas, como le digo, si quiere mandar un email al support, le podemos mandarle el mensaje a Mr. Durán, o también usted puede mandarle un mensaje a Mr. Durán. Pero ellos sí van a estar llamando la siguiente semana para introducirse y para que usted sepa quién está trabajando con su estudiante.
Okay.
Okay. So the question was around, again, if you have a student with an IEP, yes, you will be contacted next week. We have a very, very good inclusion department. They're one of the best in PUC. Mr. Duran, amazing. He has a great team. He's working out so that your students are getting support in the virtual classroom, so that the inclusion aides are in the classroom, that they're able to do breakout rooms with the students. They're also going to be assigned a go-to person so that they check in with them on a weekly basis. And so they will be reaching out next week to talk about their schedule, to talk about any supports that they can give. But if you want to contact Mr. Duran, like I said before, j.duran@pucschools.org. He is the lead inclusion specialist.
You can also email the support@lchs.org, and we will connect you with any teacher or administrator that's best suited to answer your question. We have another question from Ms. Irene Gallardo. Doesn't seem to.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. I was wondering if there's a time limit when the kids are doing the assignment on certain days and certain times for English, math, history, whatever. If they have to do it on the Zoom, of course, and then they go to their assignment of activities that needs to be done. If they have a certain hour, that does it cut off? Like, say, at 3 o'clock, it shuts down and nothing else is in there.
Rachel, you can answer this.
No, so your students have access to their documents 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Teachers will be providing due dates for the assignments that they're working on. So they can work on them whenever they'd like outside of their live instruction time, but there will be dates that those assignments are due. In addition, we're trying the best we can to minimize the homework that students have outside of their live time, but they may still have some assignments to work on outside of their class time.
Would they also have a yearly project?
They'll have projects that are associated with each unit, but not a culminating grade project.
Unit projects, but no yearly projects.
Yes.
Entonces, go ahead.
What is the base grade on by numbers or letters in your school?
So students will earn a grade that's calculated across different categories to get a percentage, and that percent follows the traditional grading scale of 90 to 100 as an A, 80 to 89 as a B, etc.
Oh, okay.
So A, B, C, there's no D's. If they get below a 70%, then it's an F. But yeah, we do A, B, and C, and F at the school. La pregunta fue sobre si los estudiantes nomás tienen acceso al trabajo durante esos tiempos, si hay tareas o proyectos. La respuesta es no, ellos pueden trabajar en el trabajo 24 horas al día, 7 días a la semana, no solo que hay ese trabajo, pero sí van a tener días donde la información está, o el proyecto está due, ¿verdad? Entonces ellos van a saber cuándo tienen que entregar ciertas cosas. Y también la pregunta fue sobre los tipos de grados de que tenemos. Entonces nosotros somos tradicional, 90% a 100% es una A, 80% a 90% es una B, 70 a 80 o a 79 es una C, y abajo de un 70 es una F. No hay Ds con nosotros.
I have another question. Is there any supplies that need to be purchased or need to receive so they can start their classes besides a laptop and the charger?
So for most classes, there aren't additional supplies. If there are, such as textbooks or novels, we'll be working on distribution days to send those out. Teachers will be reviewing materials such as paper and pens and maybe like a journal next week starting Wednesday. But there's not things like, to the best of my knowledge, around materials outside of pens and paper and things like that to work from it.
And if it's something that if a class is requiring something outside of paper and pencils, we will provide it as a school. We will make the option so that you can come pick it up. It might be something for like a music class, they might have to come pick up an instrument, things like that. But other than paper and pencil and a computer, they're not going to be required to buy anything else.
Oh, so you do have a music class there.
We do have instrumental music, yes.
What about also clubs where the kids can interact?
Yes, so good question. So this year, the clubs will all be run through our after-school program, okay? And so next week, we will send out, we didn't want to send everything. I know there's a lot of papers, a lot of forms to keep track of, but next week, we're going to send out another form for your student to be a part of the after-school program. After-school program, that's where we're going to have all our clubs. It is through a program called Think Together. It used to be YPI, now it's Think Together. So with Think Together, they're going to be hosting different clubs virtually for students to attend. And they're also going to be asking students what their interests are so they can join different clubs, so they can just socialize and be around people. They're also going to provide tutoring after school where they can, through Zoom. Okay, and so next week, probably Monday or Tuesday, you will receive a form to sign your student up. All you have to do is sign that you want your student to participate, and then they have access to all of the clubs and everything that they will offer. This year, the clubs will look different because we're not in person, but yes, we will have them.
I have a question about the music class. Would that be in the after school or regular elective?
No, that is an elective choice. And so students, for their electives, they don't start till 10th grade. 9th grade, we have double math. And so we want to make sure all our students are strong in math. And then we also they have their English and their now we have a history class. And so there isn't a room for an elective. But starting in 10th grade year, that's when they will take either dance, music, or art.
So they have 2 hours of math.
They have two courses. They'll take Algebra 1 for 80 minutes twice a week and Geometry for 80 minutes twice a week.
Oh, wow. Okay. Will they have any tutors on the side if needed?
Teachers are available for office hours daily, and students are encouraged to contact their teachers for those additional supports. And Think Together, our after-school program, also has tutoring after school.
Okay. How would the kids interact with turning in their homework and so forth? Is it all by the internet? Or is it like we take a picture of it and we email it?
Everything is through Google Classroom.
So there's like a submit button usually. Like they'll do the assignment and then they'll hit submit and it turns it in.
So it's the same as the LAUSD?
I'm not 100% familiar with what LAUSD is doing, but we are going to be in a few weeks. We're going to be starting another platform called Schoology, which is a little bit more intuitive. That's a little bit better than Google Classrooms. But yes, everything is virtually turned in. It's not take a picture or hard copy.
No, because I was doing that for the elementary. That's why, and I was having really hard times when we first started.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were, just because we were all learning it, right? It was new to everybody, and so we were trying to figure it out. Now we've had kind of a summer to prepare, and so we won't be doing that anymore.
So what if there is unable to get like their assignments passed through, can we screenshot it and we should save our evidence? Because that's what I've also had.
Yeah, teachers will usually allow that too. If they're not able to show it by submitting it, then sometimes they will accept screenshots as well.
Okay, because I have an issue with that. Like, streaming is really hard. I have 4
Mm-hmm.
kids, and even though I have my Wi-Fi, it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to see also for the layout for the times when they get to submit and turn in the assignment.
Mm.
A few times we did lose it in the internet. I don't know where it went, but I
Yeah.
screenshot it as well. But my daughters, we still lost it. Like an essay
Got it.
lifting in space somewhere.
Got it. Yeah, we know that sometimes with Wi-Fi happens. We do also have, if the internet becomes so bad, we do have that option where you can call and we can get you maybe a hotspot so that it's a different network that they're sharing and it's not all the bandwidth going to one device.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna. I know I've seen Odette here has had her hand up for a while, so
I have a question. Are we just
Odette? Here we go. Odette.
Hi. I was gonna let the person go, but okay. So my question is, I understand that they're still working on students' scheduling. However, I called earlier in the week because my daughter has taken Art 1 and she's still scheduled for Art 1. And they said by Friday, so I called them again today and they said that it's possible that they're still working on it and to check it again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
If not, who do I contact so that she's in the right art class? She's supposed to be taking Art 2.
So
Yeah, that's a quick, easy fix. It happens from time to time. Ms. Lipson can go ahead.
if you email the support at LCHS at pucschools.org, I will send, or your daughter emails that, I will send her a form to complete to alert the counselors to the error, and they'll take care of changing her schedule.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. There's a question from Norma.
Hi, everyone. Really quick, I just was wondering if there's going to be homework assigned besides all the work that they're going to have every day because everything's very new for everyone. And another quick question, how PE classes are going to work. Thank you.
So you can expect that a student might have up to 30 minutes of homework for every class they attend. So they attend 3 classes on Wednesday, they might have 30 minutes of homework for each of those classes. It shouldn't be more than that because we know right now they're already doing so much at home and we're all learning how to learn online. But they could have homework. If they're in an AP class, that homework might be closer to 60 minutes because an AP class is a college prep class and they still have an exam to take in May. And I think Mr. Castellanos can talk about what's happening for PE.
Yeah, like all our performing content, PE is also going to be adapting to the virtual model. So Coach Matt, who's been with us for close to, I think this is 8th year with us actually, he's done a great job last semester. He adapted the class so that students could do things like exercises at home, but they were also learning other things as well too, and they were focusing more on keeping track of their own progress. Coach Matt also does lots of great lessons when it comes to nutrition, healthy lifestyle, things like that. So while they're not going to be expected to perform like they would here at school where they have to change and go outside, they are going to be taking a class that's going to promote a healthy lifestyle, good nutrition, exercising, and things like that.
And also to talk about the homework question, Fridays will also be a day where they can do a lot of that work. We call it asynchronous, which means it's work that is not with the teacher. Since Fridays, they only have that 40-minute block. Aside from that, it's just time for them to work on the assignments. A lot of the work is not necessarily going to be like homework. It's work to prepare themselves for the class. We can't cover everything in that 80-minute period, and so the work is really for them to get ready for what the class looks like.
We also have a question from Kenya. Oh, you're muted. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Okay, so the Think program, is that available throughout all the PUC schools?
The Think Together program? Yes.
Yes.
No. So Think Think Together is for the high schools, and so we have it, Triumph has it, and Community Charter Early College High School has it. For the middle schools, it's called ACES, and they run it. The school runs it themselves, and so that's the difference. The grant goes to the school; they run their after-school program. For us, we use another company to do it.
Okay, my other student is in Triumph, so that's my question. Thank you.
Triumph High School.
Yes. No.
Okay. So they do ACES. They do ACES.
Oh, I got it. Okay, got you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then my next question is, will there be sports for the kids?
Good question. So right now, CIF, because we do CIF sports, we participate in the CIF sports, has postponed all sports until December. Okay, so right now the official word is no sports until December. At that point, they will give us another update, and they might postpone it further. But they're also going based off the guidelines for the county. And so if the county says, hey, you can do sports but no spectators, then that's what we'll do. But as of right now, it's postponed until December.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
We have another question from Susana.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's just right now that you mentioned that Coach Matt would be talking about or instructing kids with like the PE and also talking about other things that have to do with wellness and nutrition and just staying healthy. I was just wondering if that's open to all students. I know my son's no longer taking PE, but that would definitely be something that I would love to be able to do. Is that all possible? Yeah. And I don't know if that's something that you thought about. Thank you.
Yeah, so they wouldn't be able to join the PE class because that's like a closed session, right, with a certain number of students. But it is something we're probably going to offer in the after school program. And so in the after school program, we're thinking about offering like a health and fitness class virtually. And so that would be what they could join in order to learn more about like health and fitness.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There's a question from someone with an iPhone.
Yes, I have a question. My brother was recently accepted to Lakeview Charter High School, and I would like to know what his classes will be and if he can still be in the AP classes.
What grade is he going into?
9th grade.
Yeah, so for ninth grade, there aren't any AP classes for ninth grade right now, just because we don't offer any ninth grade AP classes. They have to be at least a 10th grader to take AP classes. For them to check their schedule, they can go. They need their PUC email and their PUC password, and so that if they don't have that, that would have been sent to the parent email. And then once they have that, they can log into Clever. That's where everything lives. And inside of Clever, they go to Power School, and that's how they can access their schedule through Power School.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There's a question from Lisa.
Hi, so my question is, I have a senior this year, and I know there's a lot of extra activities that they were supposed to do. I know due to the COVID, a lot of that stuff is not going to happen. But like taking pictures, senior pictures, and then I know books, you guys are not handing out books unless it's, something she needs, then you guys will email her. But any other stuff that I need to be aware of?
For seniors, specifically?
Yes.
Did she attend the Senior Institute with the counselors this week?
Yes, she did.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, nothing that they just specifically for seniors right now. They're going to continue to have those kinds of sessions with the counselors so they can have their applications and FAFSA and everything done. There was, I know, for pictures, White Studios, that's who we use. They were the ones reaching out to schedule those. So if you did not hear from them or get an appointment from them or anything, you can contact the school and we can reach out for you. But White Studios is who does the senior portraits.
White Studios. Okay.
Yes, and there's plenty of time for that as well too.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope she gets to go back to campus. I know that's what she's wishing for.
That's what we all hope for.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We have a question from Lindsay.
Hi, I have two questions. So if we miss a class, we're automatically marked as truant, and
No.
so if and
Yeah.
also if there would be no clubs like ran by students themselves, like with like leadership positions as well.
Good question. So for truancy, no. It is if you're more than 30 minutes late, you're considered truant for the period, not truant for the day. In order to be truant for the day, you would have to miss at least one class. But the word truant just means it just means absence. It doesn't affect you in any other way, or like there's no negative like suspension or anything like that. It's just a definition of not being there. It's called truancy. And then your question about clubs. So aside from after school program, we are right now there aren't teachers that are running clubs just because they are also, this is their first time doing the online piece, right? And so they're having to figure that out. But if a student wants to start a club or we want to go through that would go through leadership. And so leadership this year will be run by Mr. Duran. And so he will be taking on those pieces. But if we want to do student clubs with a person that is supervising it, things like that will all go through the ASB or leadership class. But in terms of teachers starting clubs, right now it's unlikely just because they are also trying to figure it out. They don't have they're trying to make sure that their classes are prepared. But I think once we start the school year, we get things going, then it's definitely something we're open to. We're not going to be opposed to if students want to start a club and you find somebody that's willing, or one of us that's willing to sponsor it and host a Zoom session, we would be more than happy to provide that. Does that answer your question, Lindsay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question from Irene.
Your hand's still up. Hello?
Hello?
How do we do it? It's working. You're on. Hello?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry. I have a few questions still. Like I have an appointment for the dentist in August, due to the 26th to 28th, but I still have younger babies besides my 9th grader that will be going to your school. I'm wondering, because I'm housewife, am I gonna will the one note be okay for my daughter when I need to take 3 children and her to get serviced?
So you're asking if the absence will be excused if the doctor's note is for your other children but not your daughter?
Yes.
Is that the question?
Yes.
Yes. So in order for we can only excuse absences if it's for the actual student, but it doesn't, as long as you don't have a lot of unexcused absences, it won't affect her in any way. So the state just lets us mark it as excuse if it's like a doctor's note for the actual student. It's not one of our rules. It's like the state rule. That's how attendance works for the state. It has to be in her name. But like I said, if she's absent once, twice, it's not gonna, and it's unexcused, it's not gonna affect her in any other way. It only starts to become an issue if there's a lot of unexcused absences accruing. Then it's when they get into the danger of being excessively absent.
Because we also have to go a lot previously to a lot of doctors on Sunset in Vermont for Kaiser. And we would go on the bus, and I'm wondering that we don't want to be late on purpose, but if she's getting treatment, if needed, would she still have to be on the time for Zoom so the teacher will not get upset, or what do I need to do?
No, I mean, teachers are not going to be upset. They are going to have to be very understanding this year that, there's going to be issues. There's going to be Wi-Fi issues. There's going to be absences from time to time. We just want to make sure that your student is there as much as possible, so they don't, because when you're absent, you fall behind, right? And so I would even recommend, if they have a phone, they're on the bus, they can access the class. They can be on the phone if it's possible. We also are going to have their classes recorded, right? And so they can access the recording later. There's not going to be anybody, unless it's a recurring thing, we are going to be understanding of that. If you want to make sure it gets excused, like I said, just submit the note to the office. It doesn't have to go to the teachers. It just goes to the office, and we communicate to the teachers why the student was absent.
Okay. There's a question from Giselle.
Sí, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Mi pregunta es, ¿los martes ya no hay salidas temprano?
No, entonces de lunes a jueves salen como a las 2:55. Entonces ya es más temprano de que antes, ¿verdad? Y los viernes nomás tienen una clase de 10 a 10:40. El tiempo de demás es ellos trabajando ellos solos.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Ajá.
There's a question from Lourdes.
Sí, buenas tardes. Yo
Buenas
quería
tardes.
preguntar, como los niños que están en el grado 12 y que les faltan hacer horas a la comunidad, ¿cómo es que las van a hacer?
Sí, buena pregunta. Entonces, no va a ser requerimiento para graduación.
Oh, ok, muchas gracias.
Okay. Yeah. So the question was about community. I know I saw Katia. I think got excited there. The question was about community service hours for seniors that still need to do community service hours. That will not be a requirement that will prevent them from graduating, since we know right now it's not really possible for them to go get community service hours.
We have a question from Irene.
This is me, Ivy. I'm wondering, can I join what's it called? The student council?
I think she's asking about
barely,
joining student council.
yeah, I think Manny, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, if you're referring to the ASB, which is our leadership class, leadership class is mainly made up of sophomores, juniors, and seniors because it's an actual class itself. To be part of ASB, we require them to be part of a class leadership. So for ninth graders, it's difficult because they have math support to take any kind of elective. So there are going to be opportunities though for students who are not in the actual ASB to be able to give feedback, to help, to join events, things like that online, so their voice can also be heard. But that is an option once they become sophomores. They can apply, and it's an application that's done in the spring.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's a question from Cynthia.
Cynthia, are you there?
There she is. Cynthia, can you unmute yourself?
I'm sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
Here.
There you go.
I just have a question. When did you say that my daughter would be getting her schedule? She's new to the school, so we're new at this.
Yeah. So did she just join, or is it you've already done the whole process? Like when did you fill out all the forms and everything?
Everything was done since the beginning, since I think it was back in March.
Okay, so she's never been to a PUC school, correct? You said?
No, she hasn't. No.
Okay, so what we did then is we send what's called a web account letter to your email, to the parent's email, and in that web account, that's where you can find their student email and their student password. Once they log into that, they can, if they use the Clever portal, they can use the same login to log into PowerSchool, and then PowerSchool shows them their schedule.
Okay, so PowerSchool. Okay.
PowerSchool, yeah, that's the one that they would get. Yeah, you're welcome.
Alrighty, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
That looks like all the questions we have right now.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we
So
have a,
James, Irene, do you have another question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But this is Ivy.
go ahead, Ivy.
What kind of clubs are there?
What kind of clubs are there?
Clubs. Yeah, so clubs that we've had in the past, they've ranged from everything to we had a club named Cool to Be Kind. We had some science clubs, math clubs, sports, a lot of sports-oriented clubs, things like that. We had National Honor Society. A lot of those are just we're not able to do online. So this year we're going to be changing the clubs so that they're with the after-school program, and they're more about support for students. And then also we're going to survey students so that we find out from you guys what kind of clubs you want us to start. We have a lot of freedom this year in terms of what clubs we can start, because we have about 5 tutors from after school program that are ready to start clubs, but they don't know what to start. They want to hear from you guys. So we will survey you guys so that if there is a club that you want to start, we can get it started with the after school club, with the after school program.
There's a question from James.
James Solis.
Sorry, it's Cynthia. That's my husband. But I just have a quick question. So I work from home, and my type of work I do requires, a lot of the use of the Wi-Fi. I was able to get a hotspot from the PUC Community Charter Elementary School for my boys. But will Alexis be able to use that same hotspot, or should I get her own for her? If you guys
Yes, they can use the same one. If it becomes an issue where it's not working because it's too slow, then you can let us know, and we can get one from our school. But I would say
Okay,
for them to
sounds
try
good.
it out.
Thank you.
Try it out first. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a question from someone with an iPhone.
Hi, I have a question. I'm sorry, I was working. I just got off from work. I just want to know if the orientation was recorded so I can listen to it eventually.
Yes. So we are recording it. We're still recording it, and then we'll post it on our YouTube page, and we'll send the link. We'll send a text with the link so you can access it.
And just as a general question, classes will start this Monday, right?
They will start Monday, but we are not having like a full day Monday. Monday will be they will meet with their grade level teachers at 10 a.m. And they should get a link in their student email so they know where to go, so they know how to get there.
Okay, and then it's from Monday through Thursday. No classes. Well, classes will be only to check with the counselors, right? Or if they have
Friday, yeah,
questions.
correct. So Friday will be advisory. It is a class. It's called advisory. It's 40 minutes. And then after that, yes, it's independent work time.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll watch the
You're welcome.
orientation later on. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That seems to be all the questions.
Excuse me?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
This is
No worries.
Irene. Because me and Ivy were both asking questions. My daughter is Ivy. We're new to your school, so that's
Okay.
why we're both like asking. So I do apologize, as well as I would like to know how long would each class be on Zoom?
Got it. So we're not gonna, first off, we're not gonna be using Zoom for the classes. We will be using either Google. We'll be starting by using Google Meets, and then eventually, probably by the second or third week, we're going to be using something called Schoology. It has something called the Big Blue Button that students, it's like a conferencing app. So it is like Zoom, but it's not necessarily Zoom. Each period is 80 minutes, Monday through Thursday, and they have 3 a day. Okay, so that's how long they will be doing the Zoom for, is 3 periods of 80 minutes, 4 times a week, Monday through Thursday.
On that too, on the Friday, does that mean will they be able to have assistance if they're stuck on an assignment or a problem? Will they
Yes.
have assistance?
Yes. So teachers will have office hours that students can reach out and schedule those. They can also we can also have tutors from the after school program, and so once they fill out the after school form that they can go to for tutoring. And then a lot of the platforms, the students directly on there can ask questions. So instead of having to get on a face-to-face with a teacher, they can send their questions through Google Classroom or anything like that, asking for assistance.
Is there something that my daughter has to fill out to join a club, or I need to sign her to join a club? She's really interested in the gaming club. I'm wondering if there's an opportunity for her to introduce herself to other students or kids, because we're really fresh.
Yeah. So we actually did used to have a gaming club. That was one of the clubs that we had. The only form you will need to fill out is the after school form, and that will go out on Monday of next week, and that is through Think Together. And so it's a virtual form that you sign, and then we get it back. Once we have that back, she can participate in any of those after school programs.
How would the kids know? Will they be like how we started at the beginning? They just popped up pictures. I'm just curious of how the kids are going to socialize through the situation.
Yeah, a lot of it will be probably through like Zoom sessions like this, and the students will have their cameras on. But we will always make sure that there's an adult present. We can't have, a Zoom session with just kids that we're hosting. And so a lot of it will be just like their classes are. It was just going to be everybody in front of a computer, cameras on, talking to one another. I know it's not the same as being face to face, but for now, it's the safest way we can do it.
Well, the kids are home and doing their Zoom. You say that every class is 80 minutes, but if the student has to get up and use the restroom or get a drink of water, I don't want the teacher to get upset because we're comfortable, safe in our own home to use the lavatory or drink the water.
No, and that's going to be expected. Same thing when we had our meetings with the teachers. We said bio breaks are okay, water breaks are okay. Just turn your camera off, and that we know that you're not there at that moment, and then they turn their cameras back on when they're back. So this method will actually allow them to use the bathroom whenever they want. They don't even have to ask permission. They can just turn their cameras off and go to the bathroom. But we also want to make sure that they're there for most of it. And I know it's going to be a struggle for some because there are more distractions, right? But yes, that won't be an issue if they go to the restroom or they need to go grab something. That's totally understandable.
How also will they take attendance call or roll call? How is your process of doing so?
So right now, it will probably something where when they start each class, they will ask all the students like a simple, question, and then it's like a one-word answer. And when they type it in the chat, it kind of saves that they were there. So that will kind of be like just by responding, that's how attendance will be taken, just by answering a question.
Okay. Is there any annual fees or need to be taken to be in that gaming club?
No.
No? Okay.
No, we don't charge for any of those clubs or anything. No.
Is there any competitions or challenges within those clubs that is made?
The cheer club that we had competitions, but again, this year, or at least this semester, probably won't be possible since everything's virtual. We did used to have a robotics club as well that would sometimes compete, but that might not be able. A lot of these competitions aren't going to be possible in a virtual world. Sorry, cut off there. Go ahead.
What time is their recess and their lunch? The difference? Is it 2 classes, then it's lunch, or 2 classes, recess? I don't know.
Yeah, so it's we will send out the schedule. So there was a request by a parent to PDF it and to send it out. So we will send it out again. But it's basically 2 periods, and then lunch, and then 1 more period. And there is about a 10-minute break in between the first and the second period.
So there's no nutrition?
That's when they can use the 10-minute break in between the first and second period. Also, if they want to eat, they can have a quick snack. They can turn off their camera, eat a granola bar, turn it back on. It really is flexible for them that they can have that as needed. In the past, really, it's hard to allow food in class because of ants and stuff. But since they're home, they're free. The only thing that we ask is that they're not distracting students, by eating, making noises in front of a camera. But if you mute yourself, you turn your camera off, you have a quick snack, turn it back on, that's totally okay. Thank you. What we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and end the session. We thank everybody for being here and for staying.
Real quick, I have a question.
Oh, sure,
so
go ahead.
How does my brother get into the Zoom sessions?
For his classes?
Yeah, for his classes.
So you should check your student email.
The student email. Is it, let's say he has a middle school one, will that still count for the high school?
If it's a PUC one, yes. If he went to a PUC, PUC middle school, yes.
Okay, and the Google Classroom codes?
Well, the teachers will be sending the teachers will be sending invites to those.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Wait another second. Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for coming. We know there's still probably a lot of questions, so don't feel free to reach out by contacting us at support@lchs@pucschools.org, and we will try to send out more information. Follow us on Instagram. We'll try to post more on there as well. I know there's a lot of things that we need to learn this year, but we thank all of you for coming. We thank all of you for being at Lakeview. So have a great evening. Thank you, guys.